Hello everyone and welcome to Retro Brick Reviews, where today I'll be making a retro review on LEGO Harry Potter set number 4736, Freeing Dobby. This set released in 2010 with 73 pieces and 3 minifigures and retailed for around $11 in the United States. So without further ado, let's take a look at the minifigures. The first minifigure included here is Harry Potter himself, and I've already taken a look at this minifigure a couple of times, including in its own minifigure spotlight video, so I'm going to be rather brief here. The hairpiece is classic, and I think it honestly works alright for the first two movies, and since this set is based off of Chamber of Secrets, I think the hairpiece works fine here, although after this it really isn't too accurate. The face print, I feel, is pretty good. It definitely doesn't look too much like Daniel Radcliffe, but at the same time, it works. I'll give it that. Then the torso print is pretty nice. Not a huge fan of how very, very orange the skin around the neck is, but it's good. There's some nice detail on the Gryffindor badge and the stripes on the tie. You have a couple of wrinkles in the sweater. The back printing just sort of continues the sweater details. And, his wand is just a 4-long brown bar, which really is not accurate at all, but that's just how they did it back then, so it's alright. And Marty... Marty. Why did I just call him Marty? Harry's alternate face is slightly more angry. He's frowning now, and I think this one looks a bit more like Daniel Radcliffe, but not really for Chamber of Secrets. Like, this would work better for some of the later movies, but I mean, in general, it's kind of odd, because the face for this figure really only works for the later movies, and the hairpiece really only works for the earlier movies. So, this guy doesn't really fit in as any specific version of Harry Potter from one of the movies. So in a way, he's kind of universal in that sense, but he's also kind of universally inaccurate. But nonetheless, still a nice figure and still a very iconic one. So, yeah, that's Harry in this set. So now let's move on to the next figure. The next figure we get in this set is Lucius Malfoy, who at the time was exclusive to this set, although he later appeared in a couple of sets in 2011. But, in my opinion, this guy looks pretty nice. I don't think the face print looks too much like the actor, but it definitely gets across the sort of cruel look of him. And I think the torso print here is very nice, probably one of the best from the 2010 Harry Potter reboot. Well, I guess sub-reboot, since technically it was sort of at the same time a continuation of the old line. It's not as much of a reboot as the new one, which is a full reboot. It's complex. I'll just call this a reboot. But anyway, he looks nice. You have some nice detailing for the robe. It's a bit fuzzy around the edges. He has the nice scaly green undershirt. It's just a really nice detailed torso print. No back printing on him. His wand is just a black stick, of course. And his hairpiece is just the Dumbledore hairpiece in blonde, which I don't think is too accurate, but I mean, there weren't many other pieces at the time that would work better, so this is fine. And Malfoy's alternate face features the Death Eater mask, and it's sort of interesting because this set was the first time we got Malfoy, but he didn't come with the hood in this set, which is kind of odd, because back when this figure first came out, people didn't know that there would be future sets where he came with a hood, such as the Battle for Hogwarts, where he would be being used as just a Death Eater. So when people first got this set, they just thought that Malfoy was just supposed to look like this, which looks really weird, and I've never understood why the Death Eater mask on this face print was so horribly thin. But nonetheless, that is Lucius Malfoy. So now let's move on to the last figure in the set. The set is, of course, called Freeing Dobby, so there's no real way you could have a set like that and not include, well, Dobby himself. And in my opinion, this is a really nice-looking figure. I mean, The torso print I've never liked too much. Like, it does its job, but to me it always seemed a bit off. I don't know, I think there are maybe a few too many wrinkles and dust marks on it. It doesn't really look realistic. It just looks weird, in my opinion. It's too wrinkly, and the wrinkles don't really go all together. And the smudges, they look less like dirt and more like Dobby just started attacking himself with a dry erase marker. Which is probably something Dobby would do, but anyway, and his back print is pretty much the same stuff. I honestly think it looks a bit better because the wrinkles are a bit more, they're going sort of the same direction. And also the smudges are a bit better looking. But yeah, of course Dobby has flesh arms, short legs, and Dobby's head, I feel, is definitely the best part of the figure and the reason why he looks so good. Because this head looks just like Dobby. Like, I mean, the shape of the nose, the mouth, the ears, everything looks just like Dobby. And the printing in the eyes looks really good. Like, it's not really the Lego style. The eyes are far more realistic, but to be completely honest, I think Dobby would look really weird with just the standard Lego eyes, so I think this was definitely the way to go. So, yeah, and, Dobby does actually get an accessory in the set, but it's pretty hard to get him to hold, so I just left it off to the side. He, of course, comes with Tom Riddle's diary, which is just represented by a black book. So no print for, like, a puncture hole or anything. I mean, I guess you can consider this spot with the molding mark to be a puncture hole if you like. But anyway, and then, of course, inside of the diary, you get this nice printed 1x2 featuring a sock on it, which at the time was exclusive, although it also appeared in the Night Bus in 2011. So, yeah, but nice print. I like it. Nice accessory to give him, although it would have been nice if you could hold it a bit easier, and overall, a really great figure. The head mold is great, and the torso print does its job. So yeah, those are the 3 figures in the set. Now let's move on to the build. So if you were to go back in time and ask someone in 2010 or 2011 why they bought this set when it was still on shelves, I can guarantee that their answer would not be because of the build. Because the figures are great. This build really isn't, unfortunately. But I mean, there are some good things, including a fine play feature, but it definitely looks a little strange. Like these weird steps. What's up with that? And these sort of, like, torches? I don't know, they just look sort of weird to me, with the fire going towards the wall. What's up with the 2 different layers of arches? Well, why does this have that weird slope? I mean, I don't know, this just looks super weird to me. I'm curious as to why this just has a gold stud on the side. Is that a golden snitch? Is that just a golden ornament? I don't know. I like that over here you have a spider and a broomstick, so that's a thing. But yeah, I mean, there's really not much to say here. It's just sort of an archway from a hallway, except it can't really be a hallway because there's the stairs, and, like, there's nothing to connect this to. Like, I think it's a bit odd how with the 2010 Hogwarts Castle and 2011 Battle for Hogwarts, they made sure that those sets could connect. But, like, why didn't they include this? Why weren't there just a couple of Technic holes on each side of this set so you could just have this be like a little interlude? Like, heck, I would like to use this as sort of the in-between piece between Hogwarts and Battle for Hogwarts, because, you know, it looks a bit odd to just have Dumbledore's office and one of the towers from that set flush up against each other, but I really can't unless I cheat because there's no pin connectors. I mean, so for that I don't really have an answer, but there is at least a reason for why it looks so weird with the stairs, but I'll get to that at the end. But, I mean, I do think Lego could have tried a bit better to make this look like the hallway, and I think really it all comes down to the bad choice of the slopes here. Like, I think that this archway should have been an 8-wide archway, and they just shouldn't have had these slopes. So you have, like, the full gray interior of the hall with the tan exterior. I think that would have looked a bit better. I don't know. But then we couldn't have had these nice sand green details, and I love me some sand green, so I don't know. But here's the back. Pretty bad looking, to be honest. Really nothing to look at there. But yeah, as for figure placement, you could probably fit 2 figures into the top of the hall back here. Like here you can have Harry, and then if you put Dobby on the other side, you can have him up at the front. Maybe put his hand up. And then just put Harry back in, because he fell out for no reason. So yeah, you can get 2 figures in there, and then Lucius can stand on this jumper for the set's play feature that you've probably already seen coming for about 5 minutes. Basically, what you've got here is you have this super long red plunger on the back, and you just push that in, and it launches him across the room, because it's just this pin pushing through and pushing him off of the jumper. And that's really all it is. Not much to it. It's a fine play feature, don't get me wrong, it's just simple. And I mean, honestly, I think maybe there could have been better ways to make that play feature work without having this awkward stairs design. Like, I don't know, maybe instead of having, like, a pin push him out, maybe they could have just had, like, the floor pop up a little, and just, like, have this all be just, like, a few plates off the ground instead of being stairs. I don't know, I don't like how this looks, and I mean, like, I like the play feature, like, how it is. I just feel as though maybe they could have found a better way to do it that would have looked better. And also, like, I'm not a huge fan of how horribly long the plunger is. Like, all it needs to do is come to, like, halfway, just a bit past the stud, and it'll fly off. But it goes out to here. They could have easily made the rod, like, 2 studs shorter, and it would have been fine. So, yeah. Overall, a bit of an odd choice there, but overall, this is still an alright set, even though definitely the thing that makes this set great is the minifigures, not the build. So, overall, again, since obviously this set came out in 2010, I can't give you my standard recommendation of would I recommend you get it for retail price. So instead, I sort of have to give you a recommendation for should you get it used for what it's going for now. And in my opinion, this is an alright set, although the main reason to get it would be the minifigures. It's a cheap way to get Harry, and at this point it's probably the cheapest, since this set usually sells for a lot less than any of the other Harry Potter sets. Probably because, obviously, most of them have a lot more desirable figures. Like, for example, the other cheap sets from the line, you have Quidditch Match, which comes with all exclusive figures. And then you have the Forbidden Forest, which comes with Hagrid and Voldemort. So, obviously, that set's going to be a lot more valuable. But this set comes with Harry, who comes in, like, every set. Lucius Malfoy, who comes in, like, 2 other sets. And one of them was Battle for Hogwarts, which seems to be, like, overall the set that most people seem to own if they have one set from this line. And then Dobby, who's pretty great. So yeah, like, usually you can probably find this set going used for not that much. Usually I'd say, like, at least $20 to $35. $35 is around the max I would pay for it used. I mean, obviously, if you find it on the low end, that's better, but I mean, I don't know, in-box, I mean, I don't really go collect things in-box, and I'm fine with getting sets used as long as they're in pretty good condition. But I mean, in-box, I would only pay, like, $50 max for this set. Like, it's just a little set with a couple of nice minifigures, and, like, really, again, the only thing that's actually exclusive here is Dobby's head and torso. So, yeah. If you want this set, great, but just don't spend too much money on it. So, yeah, that's really my opinions on this set. Pretty alright set for $11 back in the day, although I definitely wouldn't go seeking it out for a ton of money now, but if you see it cheap, go for it. It's fine. So, yeah, thank you all so much for watching this video, and I will see all of you in the next one. Farewell.